Hey, I'm Cameron. I just read comics. I love them. And on today's episode of Cameron Reads Comics, I'm going to be talking about Swamp Thing Green Hell by Jeff Lemire and Doug Mahnke with colors by David Barron. Swamp Thing already is a character that I think is what I think Black Label should be used for. It's really easy for DC Black Label to just be about Batman and all the Batman books and all the Batman characters, which you can already see a theme of in the volume they're putting out of just Batman. This book getting announced was really exciting because I'm like, yes, our favorite indie darling, Swamp Thing, Vertigo Comics legend, is now getting a DC Black Label, aka a DC Comics R-rated book. And with a title like Green Hell, I'm like, okay, so this is going to be like a horror comic. It is gnarly. For accessibility of the story, you don't even need to know anything. I think it helps if you know some of the Vertigo character mainstays, but that's about it. If you know a little bit about Swamp Thing's history, or who's appeared, how his powers work, this is a good place to start. But honestly, when it comes to full Swamp Thing stories, I've read two Swamp Thing issues before this, so I'm pretty not well versed in this character. For as much as I love and read comics, it's staggering how little Swamp Thing I've read, and also in general how little Vertigo I've read. When I saw this book, I was like, I don't know, it's jumping on point. It's a Elseworlds DC Black Label book. Let me go pick it up, and I'm so glad I did. For what the story's about, it takes place in the future on an island. I think humans have decimated the world, and so there's an island left of the last humans. The story is told through the point of view and the actions of a father and his daughter who are the father's really trying to make the island a safe place for his daughter. And due to end of the world vibes, there is people trying to use this island, and there's bad people trying to use this island for resources, aka pillaging them. There's an outbreak that happens, or there's an outburst. The village people need to fight back. So on the night where they try to fight back, they basically murder a dude, and the forces that there's three forces on the exterior or of the interior of the Swamp Thing canon. Specifically, the big one being the green, where Swamp Thing gets his powers. I believe this is kind of and my limited understanding right now, so correct me in the comments. The green is kind of it's the source where he gets his power, but it's the mystical force that, controls all nature and growth. There's the red. I don't understand what the red is, but it's the opposite of the green. It's where Animal Man gets his powers. I guess I learned that in this. I don't know anything about Animal Man. And then there is the rot, and the rot loves everything dying. So it's when a plant dies or something, that is the rot taking over. So it's those three forces working in conjunction. So anyways, they all come together once this villain guy dies, and once these people start dying. And they're we can use these to decimate humanity and rebuild. So there's growth from the green. If humanity starts over, the red says, okay, we're chill. And the rot says, yeah, I'm down with that too, because everything will die. Or at least that's how I'm understanding this book. I don't know. A character who made their first appearance in Swamp Thing, a main DC mainstay who made their first appearance in Swamp Thing, that's a hint, finds out about this and decides he needs to bring Swamp Thing back from the dead to kill these monsters that have been provided by the rot, who are trying to end humanity. So Swamp Thing comes back from heaven to hell to try and, it's not literally hell, but it's he comes from his version of heaven back to humanity to try and freaking kill this, to end these monsters, and fight the green and the red. So it's pretty cool. I'll leave that what's the book is about. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if you can hear these birds behind me, but this is just what it's like when I live in Long Beach. There's a crazy parrot population. and I can't do anything about it. Really great, really interesting story. Jeff Lemire, he's a writer I want to get more into, but he also terrifies me because of, it's like James Tynion, where he's like, oh, your body of work is absolutely bonkers. Like, you are chained to a desk somewhere just pumping out comics, and I can even think of like 3 titles he's writing right now, not including indies, and I'm just like, you need to calm down, brother. He wrote this, and the other foot in the door for me was like Doug Mahnke, where I'm like, oh, this is super cool, super gnarly. What a great artist for this kind of gritty book. I love Doug Mahnke, so it was an automatic sell for those. Like, Jeff Lemire's cool, and I thought he did a really, really great job writing this. It was a really quick, good read. This is only 3 issues. It collects Swamp Thing, Green Hell 1 through 3. Super quick, fun, easy read. I know that during publishing, it was delayed a couple times, and I understand because in this book, you really do get your money's worth out of it. For the art, I'm just like, wow, they really just crammed everything, and it's just cool, man. It's a good, especially if you want to get into Swamp Thing and like figure out what like the narrative beats are for him. Look no further than right here. Doug Mahnke absolutely kills it. It's the way he inks himself too, I think is the secret sauce of how he does everything. I just think the way he does Swamp Thing, the way he does these terrifying monsters, these huge splash pages, set pieces, some of the gnarly horror beats, so where it has to be R-rated. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you had that in you, Doug. Wow. Now for how I felt about it. I really like the story, I think. It makes me want to go read more Swamp Thing, which is the best because I need to read more Swamp Thing. I understand some beats of the characters. One of the things I love is there is I think there's a level of this that's a love letter to the OG, like, main DC Vertigo characters, which I really like because that's such a cool part of DC publishing history, and like I think that's the big strength of one of the biggest strengths of DC is the strength of their characters, like their characterization. I'm like, oh yeah, like just Swamp Thing existing in the same universe as Batman is cool, but like it's entirely different publishing universes, you know, the world Swamp Thing lives in, the struggles that he goes through. He's such a big, deep character. And the other Vertigo characters they kind of go into, I just think the way that that's explored in here is really cool from a legacy perspective. I'm really excited about reading more Swamp Thing after this. Now for my rating, I'm going to give this story an 8.0 out of 10. Really good. Yeah, I think if you're a Swamp Thing fan, it should be necessary reading, especially if you want to see more stories with him. So big shout out to DC Black Label for doing a book like this because I feel like it took a long time. So that is DC Black Label, Swamp Thing, Green Hell. That's my review. I'm Cameron. I just read comics. I love them. See you guys next time.